Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Badly.
It is going badly because Titans lost to the San Diego Chargers yesterday, 43-35. And this is our episode where we talk about it and rant and vent and give our take and breakdown of what went wrong or what went right. So let's just get right into it. Justin, give us your overall thoughts on the game before we get down into like the more specific offense and defense type stuff. So tell us about it.
I can do that. Yeah, we watched the game together, but I was just not up for talking about the game so recently after it had ended. I didn't want to give my knee-jerk reaction, but I've settled down. I've had time of reflection. But so yeah, this game did not go as we wanted it to very early on, obviously. The Chargers, I'm sure, wanted to make this game into a shootout, which is exactly what happened. And I just think we got game planned to death by the Chargers. I think what their plan, what they wanted to do going into this game, worked for them. They came out throwing the ball all over the place on their first couple drives, and we were getting shredded by Phillip Rivers. We could not stop anything from the tight ends to a slant route. Can we please sign a guy in the offseason that can cover a slant route? We were getting killed by those slants. But yeah, they came out throwing the ball all over the field, and then that, for the rest of the game, opened up the running game. Because then we were like, oh, we got to defend the pass. We're getting killed. And then Melvin Gordon just pounded our fifth-ranked defense against the run into submission. We got absolutely trucked for the entire game. Oops, sorry, I'm getting some important text. Ignore. Yeah, so let's see. I have some notes written down here. So yeah, they come out fast. We start slow. They go down and score that touchdown first drive of the game. Miss the extra point, fortunately. And then the Titans offense, they come out after a penalty on the special teams, which backs us up automatically before we even get the ball.
We're used to that, though.
We were getting better about it, but we had terrible field position, and the offense goes three and out. Give the ball back to them. They get a field goal. We go 3 and out again. These kind of slow starts and playing from behind is what really killed us in this game. But yeah, so in the blink of an eye, we are down 16-0, and I feel like the game hadn't even truly started yet. We hadn't even really gotten the ball and done anything with it, and it was already 16-0. But yeah, let's see. We were completely one-dimensional the whole game. We were playing catch-up. Even when we ran the ball, it was not that effective. Murray couldn't find any running room, so we were completely one-dimensional. We were counting on Mariota to keep us in the game, which he did, and we're going to have a lot to say about Marcus Mariota, but other than his glaring mistakes, he was sensational in this game. And if you don't believe me, then I'm sorry.
Go back and watch the highlights.
Yeah, go back and watch the highlights. This guy is making some highlight reel plays, running the ball, throwing the ball, accurate passes. In this game, Marcus giveth and Marcus taketh away.
The Lord giveth, the Lord taketh away.
Yeah, the Lord Marcus was the giver and taker in this game. He kept us in the game, but he also had some crushing plays against us. But even so, I mean, the defense couldn't stop anybody. It was a miracle if we forced San Diego to punt. How many times did they punt? Like 3 times, maybe?
I do not even know. I can stat check that real quick. They punted twice.
They punted twice the whole game. That's a disaster. So between us not being able to stop their offense and Marcus Mariota...
They punted 3 times. My bad.
Oh, you lied.
I did lie.
He lies. But, so yeah, like I was saying, even though our defense couldn't stop their offense for the life of us, and Marcus Mariota gift wrapped them 2 touchdowns, we were still like in this game, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, so after the horrendous start, I mean, props to this team. This team shows fight like no other Titans team I've seen before. We went into the halftime 19-14. So Mariota throws his first interception. They get a field goal out of it. But he comes back down and scores 2 touchdowns, and we're right in this game, 19-14. Come out at half, get the ball, march right down the field, get a touchdown, and we're winning. Like, what great resiliency that Mariota and this whole team has showed all year, and it was on perfect display against San Diego right there. I mean, there was no reason to feel good or comfortable because you knew at that point this was going to be a shootout because, like I was saying, our defense could not stop Rivers. at all. But yeah, so we took the lead in the third quarter. We had the lead, and then in the second half, it was pretty much Mariota playing against himself. He'd give us a touchdown, he'd give them a touchdown. He'd give us another touchdown, he'd give them a touchdown. So it was a weird, crazy mix of... This was kind of like the theme of Mariota's season so far, all in one game. Up and down, up and down. He was down early part of the year, super high up the last 4 games, and in this game he was super high, super down. So, unfortunate. Unfortunate that we, didn't win the game. We couldn't avoid the costly mistakes, and the defense played the worst game of the season. But you know what? We lost by 8 points. We were still in this thing. Mariota scored that last touchdown. San Diego had 2.5 minutes. We had all 3 of our timeouts. We had a chance to get the ball back, but we couldn't stop them. They were able to run the clock out. Anyway, those are my initial thoughts of the whole game as a whole.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Or any comments?
So let's get straight down into the more specifics, and then I can add some stuff.
Yeah.
With that, let's just go ahead and get into offense, I guess, as you could say, unless you have one more point to make.
But but then you led into the offense. Okay, first of all, what was with Derrick Henry unexpectedly hurting his calf muscle and was out for the game? That sucked. That's right away. Boom. We got hit with an injury that he was probably going to see some good playing time. And he's still an important part of this offense, even though it's DeMarco Murray's the bell cow running back for the team. But still, that sucks to see right away. Derrick Henry not going to be in for us.
I think you were spot on when you say that San Diego pretty much game planned the crap out of us. Yeah. And honestly, we could never recover from that. Down 16-0. I know we ended up eventually taking the lead, but spotting a team 16 points, that's really hard to come back from. And we ended up losing by 8. But I think Derrick Henry injury was more important than the announcers let on from the broadcast. But especially after his game against Jacksonville, where he had the best game of his career so far. We gave him the most touches. There was plenty of stuff coming out after that over the next 10 days before this game about how he would be more involved in the game plan, how we're going to try to get him some more runs, get him more into the flow of the game. And then, boom, he gets injured in pregame warmups, and I kind of feel like that really hurt us.
Game plan, probably too. Yeah.
I think it did, especially because I think in earlier games when Murray struggled earlier and they send in Derrick Henry for a few runs, it's just a change of pace for the defense, a different runner, a different kind of body back there, and I think it benefits the whole run game in general. So I think that was a big thing that kind of hurt us right before the game, kind of shocked the coaches. But I'm not making excuses for them because we had 10 days to prepare for this game, and we started so slow. I don't see how that happens. I got to put that on Malarkey and the staff. You have 10 days to prepare for a team, and you come out and you're down 16-0 in the first quarter.
Terrible.
The first quarter by that time.
We looked so sloppy in the first quarter.
We were down 9-0 at the end of the first quarter, but
then it turned into 16.
Yeah, from both sides of the ball, defense, they drive right down, tear apart our defensive game plan by short passes, passing all over us.
We got exposed.
And then we come out and answer with a 3-and-out. Really unbelievable.
After a special teams penalty. That's complimentary football in the most wrong way possible.
Yes. So we were preaching how it was so good against Jacksonville. Well, this was how it was so bad.
All phases were hurting each other.
And I think you were spot on with we got out game plans, especially in the first half. They knew that we like to control the pace with the run game and then have a more balanced offense. They took that away from us, made us one-dimensional, and tried to see if our young, pretty inexperienced quarterback could pretty much beat us with the whole weight on his shoulders. And he darn near did.
He did. He had those costly errors for sure, but man, he showed some fight. And he gave a valiant effort, in my opinion. I mean, we were in the game because of Marcus Mariota. Let's not forget that. He was literally the only thing going for us in this game. Our running game wasn't going for us. Our defense wasn't going for us at all. And Lord knows our special teams wasn't going for us. Marcus was the only thing keeping us in this game. Let's not forget that before people want to throw him over a bridge because he threw a pick 6 again. And fumble 6 again. Dang it.
I haven't seen as much backlash against him this time via social media as I have in the past because I think he's been so hot recently. Mm-hmm. But, and yet, I think he had, honestly, I hate narrowing it down to those turnovers because they were extremely costly turnovers. But he played spectacular. You already talked about it.
He really did.
You go back, I watched the highlights probably like twice today, just Mariota highlights. Man, the dude is on point, making some great throws. A lot of the throws I noticed, he's not even having time to step into it. He was kind of throwing off his back foot, just showing the arm strength that we're really not used to seeing. Not like chucking it 40 yards down the field, but a nice 15-yard pass where he can't step into it in traffic.
Yeah, even when guys are in his face and his release is so quick, he doesn't. You think he's going to get hit or sacked, and then he has it right out of there in no time, and it's a laser.
Definitely think that's something we hadn't been seeing or hadn't seen yet this season from him. So I think that's extremely encouraging to know that Marcus has those weapons if needed or always needed.
Yeah.
But I think his highlight of the day was the last touchdown to Delaney Walker.
Fitting it in between like three defenders.
That pass was incredible. And Delaney Walker, obviously, with the sure hands making the catch. But
it's cool, though. It's good to know, though, whenever a game turns into a shootout like this, Mariota can keep us in the game. I mean, I'm going to keep referencing it every single time I say Marcus kept us in the game, but his turnovers also helped San Diego to stay ahead as well. But, I mean, if he can control the turnovers, and I think he will, even though it's getting frustrating to see this pretty consistently, even though he hasn't done it in the past 4 or 5 games, but... Oh, wait, he did it against the Colts. Whatever.
Yeah.
But when it becomes a shootout, Mariota is capable of making this into a shootout and scoring points with guys like Rashard Matthews and Tajay Sharp. Like, the fact that he's able to do this with the weapons that we have speaks volumes, I think, for a quarterback that's so young in his sophomore year, only playing his 22nd game, I think. So...
I mean, young quarterbacks turn the ball over. That's what they do. I saw a stat yesterday on Twitter about how Brett Favre threw 77 interceptions and so many fumbles through his first 3 seasons or something, and Roethlisberger had so many interceptions through his first 3 seasons. It's just part of growing up in the NFL and maturing as a quarterback.
But the thing about his turnovers, though, is what makes it look even worse than what the stat sheet says, is that his turnovers are absolutely crushing. I read a stat that I think Paul Kaharski of ESPN.com, who covers the Titans for ESPN, Mariota leads the league in touchdowns given up to the defense with 5, and the next closest person is a couple guys with 3. So, and those are all games that we lost. He gave up 2 touchdowns to Minnesota. We lost by 9. He gave up 1 to Indianapolis. We lost by 8.
I don't even know.
34-26, yeah, I think that was it. And then he gives up 2 again to the Chargers. We lost by 8. So you can see, obviously, when those turnovers are having that obvious and direct of an impact on the game, it's going to look worse for you. So it's just unfortunate that all of his turnovers are crushers.
But over his past, I think, 5 games, he has 15 total touchdowns to 4 total turnovers or 4 interceptions. I'm not sure.
It would be 2... interceptions to 1, but how many games?
I don't know.
He threw 2 against San Diego, and then threw...
I need to do my facts before I get on this podcast. But he looked great, and I know people are going to spotlight the turnovers, and they were bad. Quick point on the fumble, though. I wasn't sold on that play call, and I told you about it. It's second, I think we were in a 2nd and 20. We run a read option to the short side of the field. The best case scenario that comes out of this, unless it's like a busted play on the defense, is like 3 or 4 yards. Worst case scenario, you risk something like a fumble happening, which is exactly what happened.
But if Marcus doesn't fumble that, we're not even talking about that play, though, probably. We're not going to say, like, oh, remember that 2nd and 20 play where we ran an option and got 4 yards?
We're talking about that play because then that makes it a 3rd and 17. I mean, he was getting tackled, 2 yards in, 3 yards into the...
Yeah, was it a 2nd and 20, though?
Or was it 2nd and 20?
Or
it was a 2nd and long. Bro.
Okay.
Bro!
Just want to fact check you.
I know it because I remember.
Okay. Gotcha.
It was a 2nd and long, whether that was 15 or 20. Just the wrong play call for that situation. IMO. Interception, just a bad read. Stared down his receiver the whole time, and he paid for it.
Yeah. What What do you think about the play calling in general, though? Because I think it's become obvious that Mariota thrives and strives, if that's a saying, in a spread offense, hurry-up spread offense. And there's a lot of times where we're running like a college-y read option or option swing out pitch option thing. I'm not good with football terminology. I don't know the X's and O's. But, yeah, it seems like he's at his best when he's got the entire field to see. He's in shotgun. Everyone's spread out. He can diagnose the defense and then throw the ball to the best receiver available.
I think we've talked about it all season. I think fans have talked about it. And I think it was most obvious when we came out of the second half, ran the hurry-up, no huddle, spread formation. Marcus was in the shotgun. We started the drive with, I think, 6 straight passes, and then finally ran the ball, which is a design QB run, which was a design QB draw.
And Marcus
ran it into the end zone.
That was sick.
He looked sharp.
So nice.
He looked in control of the offense. And then after that drive, we like never went back to it till the end of the game when we were, getting down by 2 possessions late. I don't know why we don't see more no-huddle kind of fast-paced offense. I think that's where Marcus is thriving in those situations, in those 2-minute drills. Whether it's within 2 minutes or not, I think you're exactly right. I think he thrives in those situations. I don't think we do him enough. Probably because we have more of an emphasis on a run game and a balanced offense. But it's really good to see Marcus in those situations excel. And I would like to see more of that per game. Just change of pace, mix it up every other possession, keep the defense on their toes. We got behind so early in this one, trying to stay with who we were with the smash mouth run. They were stopping it early. I know Murray got stopped on a 3rd and short, got stuffed, and I kind of think that took Malarkey and the confidence out of the run game pretty much for the rest of the game, to where he pretty much started relying on Mariota from then on out. But I would just like to see more of a change of pace on offense. Just pick it up a little bit, because I think Marcus really excels in that area.
Yeah,
but
totally agree. Yeah, it was so weird not seeing our running game dominate like we normally do. And it's not that San Diego was... Give San Diego credit. I mean, they were playing us well. Of course, like we said, they game planned well, but it just didn't look like we were executing well at all, even in the running game. So I don't know. Put that on the players or put it on the coaches. I guess we could say, for not having the players ready, but yeah, it just looked like a sloppy effort in the running game. But yeah, that's kind of all I had to add.
Yeah, that's about all I have. Shout out to Rashard Matthews. Dude's looking like he's been a solid pickup, getting better every single game.
For sure. He's looking to be our number 1 receiver option, and then Kendall coming in. Tajay Sharp still made some big catches. I know he had some long catches, sustaining drives. Yeah, it was a promising game.
Our passing game is definitely getting better, and I think yesterday was probably their best game as a whole. I know it didn't produce the win we were looking for, but overall across the board, Kendall, Rashard, Delaney, Tajay, and Marcus
spreading the ball around.
Spreading the ball.
It's great. How many receivers did we have over 50 yards or 40 yards?
We had 5 receivers over 40 yards.
That's what you call spread the ball around.
Shout out to Harry Douglas stepping in for the retired Andre Johnson and making an impact on the game. 2 huge catches.
He's saying, hey, get me on the field. I know where to go and what to do.
I think our receivers really stepped up yesterday, hand in hand to Marcus stepping up in the passing game. I think they all played well. I
have heard criticism, though, of Kendall Wright from Mike Malarkey on that pick 6 that Mariota threw. Malarkey said he put more of the blame on Kendall Wright for not coming back and being more aggressive coming back to the ball.
Funny you should say that, because Kendall Wright actually took the blame for that after the game. I didn't hear the post-game interview, but I just heard that Kendall Wright was the one to take the blame for that interception. So this just shows you that as fans and as reporters and stuff like that, we don't always get the full story behind these turnovers.
We don't know how, what the player's supposed to be doing, and if they don't do it, then we think, it must be the quarterback's fault. He threw a bad pass.
Mainly, I'm thinking back to the fumble in the Colts game where we kind of broke down that, where I thought it was the wrong play call, just wrong execution, everyone was putting on Marcus, though. But that was a pass game. But, so we don't get the whole story behind all those stuff. Ends up, the blame just goes all on Marcus, which looks bad for the guy, but he's strong, and in Marcus I trust.
Yeah, me too. Marcus will persevere. He's shown that. He is, what do they say, unflappable. He does not get phased when facing adversity. So great quality and characteristic to have in your franchise quarterback. And if any of you guys are doubting him, then you're going to have to doubt him for the next 10 years because this guy is the best quarterback in Nashville, Tennessee, and is the best, has been the best. He's the best one we've had for a very long time. So he's going to be our franchise quarterback for the next decade at least.
I do have to say, I want to add that I think we were number 9 offense coming in terms of yardage per game or overall yardage per game, and which was I was kind of in shock when I saw that stat this past week.
Yeah.
In seeing this game now, yesterday, I can believe it. Our passing game tore it up. Because take away the turnovers, and we torched them through the air too. Marcus was shredding that defense. If you add in even a decent running day yesterday, that game is ours. But props to San Diego for game planning, making us one-dimensional.
Yeah,
completely.
injury-riddled Chargers. Like we struggled against the Colts, who were filled with injuries too. Like I think teams are probably strong whenever the coaching is strong and the scheme is strong, not necessarily the players. Because we face some banged-up teams, and it does not seem to make a difference whenever we face off against them. Because I thought we had a big advantage with Hunter Henry from the Chargers not playing. They had their 2 starting inside linebackers out. Like, that's big. I think they're big in the running game, and I felt like we could have exploited that, but it's not what happened. They game planned us and beat us.
Anything left you want to talk about offensive-wise?
I was going to add to your comment about our offense putting up 9th most yards per game, and that is mostly all of the running game up to this point, but then when they took a step back, the passing offense stepped up, like you said. So I don't think we're going to drop in the yards per game category. It's good to know that, we can complement ourselves. If the running game's not going well, we're able to pass it. If the passing game's not going well, we should be able to run it. So far this year, we have not been shut down on both sides of the ball, I don't think.
No.
Maybe Minnesota?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe Minnesota because our running game did nothing and our passing game all just accounted for turnovers. Mariota. But
I did see a stat. I mean, I think it's important to be critical of Mariota too, even though we're very staunch supporters of him, and we will always be fans, and we're super happy that he's on our team. But we have lost. I can't remember the number of fumbles, but the only other time that we've had a turnover, and it wasn't Marcus Mariota, it was DeMarco Murray. He had 1 fumble in the very first game of the year.
Yeah.
Ever since then, every single one of our turnovers has been on Mariota. Our receivers have held onto the ball. No lost fumbles. Nope. I don't even think they've fumbled in general at all.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, the turnover problem it sucks, but it's just part of growing as a young team. And Marcus is young. He just turned 23. Go easy on him. He'll get it right. He's a super skilled quarterback.
Yes. If you doubt, I'm telling you again, if you doubt Marcus Mariota's skill, go back and watch his highlights from the San Diego game.
Mm-hmm.
The dude has some game-breaking highlights, passes, runs, reads.
He's a gamer.
I know he made a few mistakes, but he's a baller, and I think our team is in good hands.
Yep.
A lot of potential coming out of that. All right, let's move on to the defense.
Do we have to?
Because that was definitely an area of weakness from the very first possession.
Let's look at the highlights. Wesley Woodyard got a sack. Done. It's over. That's all. That's all the highlights from the defense.
That is about it. We were gashed not only through the air, but torn apart on the ground. Our 5th-ranked run D looked like the worst run D in the league. Melvin Gordon went for a career day, 198 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, and if you throw in his receiving, 65 receiving yards. Gosh. We let that dude look like Adrian Peterson or something.
We did. Or maybe more fittingly, LaDainian Tomlinson being a Charger.
That is more fittingly.
But, man, Phillip Rivers threw the ball 33 times. They ran the ball 39 times. How many offensive plays do they get? Our defense could not get off the field to save their lives.
Well, in fairness, those last 3 Phillip Rivers runs were knees. Or 2 of them.
Well, that's going against my point, so I'm just going to ignore that.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, 39 rushes officially in the stat column. But no, you're right. Our defense, we couldn't. We got to get a linebacker that can cover a tight end. We need to get Keith Bullock back in a Titans uniform to cover these tight ends, man.
Mr. Monday Night.
Mr. Monday Night, give us some interceptions or something. Man, Gates. Old man Gates, he's like 45 now, and he's not 45, but he's very old, and he was looking like 2006, 2007 Antonio Gates out there. They didn't miss Hunter Henry. at all. And their receivers, Phillip Rivers spread the ball around. You know what? I'm surprised we didn't see some Travis Benjamin action tear us up like he normally does. But yeah, our defensive backs couldn't cover this game. Our linebackers couldn't cover this game. We couldn't get any. We got some pressure on him, but Phillip Rivers just gets the ball out quick. So that's tough to defend. Only getting 1 sack. That's a little disappointing. You brought up something though about how their offensive line, or the commentators made a point that their offensive line was like rated as the 3rd worst in the league,
according to Pro Football Focus. Yes.
Yeah, which if you take that stuff seriously, then that
I do. Yeah,
I think there's some merit to it, but what's up with us going against supposed bad offensive lines like the Colts and the Chargers? We didn't register hardly any sacks. That probably has a lot to do with the quarterback we're going up against. I don't think this defense is built to stop elite-type quarterbacks. I don't know if you'd consider Rivers elite.
I think
yourself. But, we have Aaron Rodgers next week. I know they're slumping, but I'm not looking forward to that. I think we might run into the same problem. The defense lives and dies by getting pressure on the quarterback. And
yes, which is becoming very easy for other teams to game plan for.
Mm-hmm. They're just we'll just run a quick slant. It's going to be wide open, and we have no time to get back there anyway.
I think our lack of defensive production in this game goes back to the Chargers' game plan. Out of the gate, short passes, quick passes to the tight end. They knew we couldn't cover Antonio Gates. Knew our weaknesses in the secondary, and then our coverage as linebackers. They took that apart, and then when we tried to overcompensate and adjust to that, that's when they gashed us with the run game, and Melvin Gordon went for a career day. So just took us apart in every single way.
Ken Wisenhunt, where was this when you were our head coach? You looked like a fantastic coach and coordinator if you can game plan this, but goodness gracious. But yeah, you're spot on. It's frustrating.
Yeah, it does. And I know our team, we were the worst team in the league last year and the year before that. So we're obviously going to have holes across the board. You can't fix that in a few off seasons. It takes longer than that. We can get players here and there, but we're over halfway through the season, we're starting to see where the glaring holes are.
Teams are starting to see it too.
Teams are starting to see it, and teams are starting to execute for that and game plan for that. Mainly, our defense is pretty much pass rush. Take that away, and I can't even say we're top half of the league in terms of defense, especially not personnel wise. We can't seem to cover anyone in the man-to-man situation.
Getting Parrish Cox back did nothing to help us.
Yeah, so a lot of ways to improve. Hopefully we can improve that in the offseason and free agency. I think every Titans fan, and I'm sure the GM and the coach, know that is an area of weakness. So looking forward to what we do in the offseason about that.
You want to talk about that?
No, I don't. I'm just saying. I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think our defense is going to magically become something different halfway through the year with the personnel we have. If we can't get to the quarterback, great quarterbacks like a Rivers, like a Luck, are going to tear us apart.
We got old Rodgers this week, then we have Luck again next week, and we're going to have to make some adjustments, or that's going to be in for a long afternoon as well. Do you want to?
I do want to say I think we also need to get better in terms of secondary and defensive backs tackling. Melvin Gordon running. I thought that was definitely we can get game planned and schemed for in the passing game, but there's some plays that just came down yesterday to being able to tackle a guy, not even in the open field. Melvin Gordon was just running straight between the tackles and breaking 3 or 4, especially on that last play. 3rd and 7, we all knew they were running the ball. They ran the ball straight up on the left, broke Kevin Byard and Denoris Cersei, just arm tackles straight through. Like, what?
The game is on the line. It's a 3rd and 7, and you give up a 40-yard run up the middle off tackle.
Yeah.
Or I guess off tackle is that considered up the middle? I don't know football like that, but
so
it was pretty much up the middle. And I do have one complaint. I don't like blaming officials, but sweet old man Brad Allen, flag happy man. Okay, I just wanted to make this one point on this one drive because I like pointing things out like this. I think we had just taken the lead, 21-19. They get the ball back, and as hard as stopping their offense was to come by in this game, we stopped them on third down twice on this drive, and it was undone because of flags. I think there was a holding against Jason McCourty. I remember it was a defensive holding, and it was very ticky-tacky. I mean, I can see, I guess, why he did it. I think it's because the ball was thrown in that direction was why they threw the flag. But I don't know. He jammed the receiver. You're allowed to do that. And then he pushed down on his shoulder as he kind of broke out. But he didn't grab or hold anything. And then I think it was Denoris Cersei in the end zone. That was called for a holding.
That was where they were at the goal line, and third down, Jarrell Casey ended up getting the sack.
Yeah, he got a sack.
We were so busy celebrating that we got the sack, we didn't even hear the penalty called until they had another first and goal.
He got there so fast, too. He blew up Rivers, and I don't even think that holding would have made a difference. He was already getting sacked, I think, as the hold may have been taking place. The hold, did they even show a replay?
They didn't.
So I don't even know if it was legit or if...
But we knew going in, once I saw Brad Allen's face, I knew it was going to be a ticky-tacky game based on our Detroit game.
Yeah.
And it was, man.
I think, the San Diego had even more penalties called against them.
Yeah, they did. So we can't really complain about the...
But just that one drive killed momentum because our defense had stopped them. Then flag, drive continues. Then we stopped them again after they're in field goal range, so we thought they'd only get a field goal. And then they got a first and goal at the 1 after that last flag. And then they scored that touchdown. So kind of took some wind out of the sails. But, I mean, throughout the game, Mariota kept showing fight and kept us in it. So we weren't out of the game because of that drive, but still. It's still frustrating.
I think
just because stops were so hard to come by, and then we had stopped them twice on that drive, and then officials kind of let it go on. But that's all I have to say about it.
We knew San Diego was going to be a tough game. We talked about it in our preview up when we saw the schedule before the season even started. At San Diego, we've always played bad there. It's like a curse. But I honestly felt the game. I left the game feeling pretty encouraged, depressed that we lost, but just with how we started, and I think it's been a theme this season, we've kind of started slow, gotten in some holes. We've taken an early punch, but we've been able to fight and punch back.
Yes.
We got down 16-0. Back in the day, an old Titans team would have just crumbled and flopped from there on out, and the route would have been on against a good San Diego team with Phillip Rivers at the helm. But no, this team turned it around. We adjusted. We took it over in the passing game. Mariota stepped up, made some big plays for both teams.
Yes.
But yeah, and then coming out second half, we had to lead 21-19, and I was like, wow, what team am I watching? This is not the Titans team I'm used to over the past 8 years.
It was 16-0 at the beginning of the second quarter, wasn't it? And then the first drive of the third quarter, we're winning. Like, that's such an fast turnaround that we made. Like, we can put up points in a hurry.
Yeah, it's good to see that I think that out of a young team and a team that still has a lot of holes across the board, but is starting to fill some holes with players, potential stars in the league, some young players. I think that's extremely encouraging. Marcus is going to clean up those turnovers. Our receivers are going to figure out the routes, get on their timing, their chemistry with it. But what you want to see, I think, out of a young team, in my opinion, is the fight and the grind to not give up in tough situations. On the road in San Diego, down 16-0 like that, you have nothing going for you, and we were able to fight back. The costly turnovers ended up costing us our comeback in the second half to seal the deal. But the grit in the fight, man. It's encouraging to see out of such young players and young teams that have potential through the roof.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have that part down. It's just if we can tighten up the errors and the mistakes and the mental mistakes.
Tighten up.
Then we're on our way to becoming a great team.
Yeah. I think it's progress that this is the first time we weren't blown out in San Diego.
True.
Every other trip to San Diego, it was over in the first quarter. And that's what it looked like it was going to be this time. But no, we were in this thing again. We have never been out of a game this year. Not once have we been out of a game. We've been in every single game this year. And I don't even think you can say that about many Titans teams of the past. Even if we were good, a 500 team, maybe in games where seasons we made the playoffs, we would have a game where we get blown out. But no, not this year. We've shown incredible fight. Man, I had something else to say, but I lost my train of thought as you were going.
Sorry, that made you lose your train of thought.
Yeah, it's okay though. What else? What
That's
else?
about all I got.
Special teams, nothing really of note. We didn't give up any plays, but we didn't make any
So
plays.
we just pass on the special teams.
Pass
Nothing
on,
really
special
to
teams
say.
gets a pass, which is a good thing. You didn't do anything terrible today.
Yes.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I like. I'm encouraged to see it. Sucks that Green Bay had to beat the Colts yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Then this game wouldn't have meant as much as it did if they had
Yeah.
lost too. But
Man, we do have a tough stretch coming up. We have the Colts, the Packers next week, and then the Colts are after the Packers. We have to play Kansas City again.
again, we've already beat them once.
Oh, sorry.
This year, apparently.
I said Kansas City, and then my mind went to Jacksonville, and that's why I said again. But Jacksonville, we should win that game too. But yeah, it sucks to drop this game because I think this is a good chance to pick up a win with a bunch of tough teams coming in. Now, winning this division, making a division push is going to be a little bit more difficult, dropping the San Diego game. But yeah, we just need to refocus, take care of business. Packers are slumping. Aaron Rodgers is still the scariest quarterback in my mind. He's got the craziest arm, but he's slumping. We'll see what happens.
But still, focus on this game.
Okay, we're not done.
I just want to focus on this game one more time
Do it.
before we leave. But
maybe I'll remember what I had.
I think a lot of people came in with a lot of optimism. Titans 4-4 facing a Chargers team 3-5. You look at those records, you think we have the advantage, especially, and then you start breaking down team stats. The Chargers were a lot better than 3-5.
They beat the Falcons and the Broncos.
Yes, they were in a lot of close games. They're playing in the toughest division by far in the NFL. Yes, you can debate me on that. That is an opinion, but come on. Yesterday, before the Sunday night game, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chiefs were all at 6-2, and the Chargers were at 3-5.
The Chargers lost some close games.
Yeah,
they lost to the Chiefs in overtime.
Every single game has been within pretty much a possession that they played, that they've lost for sure.
Yeah.
I know they beat the Jags by a few
handily.
possessions, but every single game they've lost has been by a possession or two. So this team was not the 3-5 team we were looking at. So I think it's nice to show that we can compete with some of the upper echelon teams in the league. Maybe not top 10, but I think top half of the league for sure. Chargers are up there.
And we said in our preview episode they're the highest scoring team in the AFC and second in the NFL. And we gave them 2 touchdowns, free touchdowns by Marcus Mariota, and we were still in the game after all of that. So yeah, I mean, the fact that we're competing with these teams is big, I think.
You think about it, we stopped Melvin Gordon on that 3rd and 7, get the ball back with over 2 minutes left.
That's Marcus Mariota time.
That is. Most of the time he fumbles or throws a pick there, but I'm just kidding.
He's getting the 2 minutes. He's good.
He is.
Except
I'm just kidding.
The Colts, he had the fumble in the 2 minutes, didn't he?
We were right in the game, and I just like to see the fight. I liked it, man. I'm encouraged about this team. I think AFC South is still up for the taking. It's going to be harder road now that we lost to San Diego and we have a few tough games coming up. But we can do it.
We can do it, guys. I'm still all in on this season. We're playing meaningful football in November. It's good to be a Titans fan right now.
It is. Woo! Go Titans.
Ooh. All right, we're done. Leave us a comment. Leave us your thoughts. Anything we missed. Anything you want to add. And let's go get them Packers next week.
Yeah.